Good evening and a very warm welcome to your English news package with radio and television Tonga for the hour. Making headlines, government has approved a new fiscal policy to reduce the social impact on all households from the high energy prices with effective from 1st of July 2022 for 3 months. New Zealand High Commissioner presented his credence letter to His Majesty King Tebogo VI yesterday at the Royal Palace. And the 4th UN Ocean Conference is still continuing at protocol. We'll have these and more stories later on in the bulletin together with sports to wrap up with the latest weather update. Now with the stories in details. The continuous global surge in energy prices has caused historical new highs of the local fuel prices in Tonga to over 4 pa'anga per litre for petrol and diesel, increase in gas per kilogram and diesel power. The extent and the duration of the global petroleum price crisis is hyped by the uncertainty of the political tensions in Ukraine, the resultant economic sanctions and its extensions. In response, the government has approved a new fiscal policy to reduce the social impact on all households from the high energy prices with effect from the 1st of July 2022 for 3 months to subsidize the increase in prices by the government paying 20 seniti per litre for each of the petroleum products, and the government is paying 15 seniti per kilowatts from the 18 seniti increase in electricity tariff. The new 15 seniti subsidy per kilowatt is in addition to the existing 6.7 seniti per kilowatt subsidy plus the 11 seniti per kilowatt lifeline subsidy for eligible consumers whose consumption is below 150 kilowatts per month. The continuity of the subsidies will be reviewed from the end of September 2022, depending on the extent of further increases and the duration. The acting Prime Minister and Minister responsible for energy, the Honourable Boaside, stated that this high increase is more pronounced for and severely felt by households at the lower end of the income distribution and in the outer islands. The approved subsidies are crucial to alleviate the impact on the most vulnerable households. The subsidy will supplement the government's social protection assistance to the elderly, special needs, and through constituencies throughout the country. Members of the public are requested to please take measures to minimize the negative impacts of the petrol and electricity tariff increases, including consideration of cost savings measures until the price returns to normal. The first diplomatic week of 2022 was held from the 27th to 28th of June 2022. During the diplomatic week, a total of 7 letters of credence presented to His Majesty, 6 of which were conducted virtually from Wellington and Suva.
The diplomatic week was successfully completed yesterday, Tuesday the 28th of June, when His Majesty King Tebogo VI received the letter of credence from His Excellency Matthew David Howell, the new New Zealand High Commissioner to Tonga, at a ceremony held at the Royal Palace in Nuku'alofa. New Zealand and Tonga have shared enduring and close diplomatic relations and the High Commissioner's diplomatic term will continue to deepen this close bilateral partnership and cooperation. Diplomatic Week is the allocated week during which newly appointed ambassadors and High Commissioners accredited to His Majesty's government present the letters of credence to His Majesty the King. Traditionally, the ceremonies are held in person at the Royal Palace, Nuku'alofa. The letter of credence is a formal diplomatic letter that appoints a diplomat as an ambassador or high commissioner to another sovereign state and is presented to the sovereign in a formal ceremony to mark the beginning of ambassadorship. The impacts of COVID-19 have since interrupted international travels and ambassadorial visit to Tonga. Each diplomatic week provides opportunities to cultivate long-lasting and strong partnerships between the government of the Kingdom of Tonga and the governments of the ambassadors and high commissioners who present credentials to His Majesty the King. Vaifonoto Paula for Radio and Television Tonga News.
The 4th UN Ocean Conference began on Monday, the 27th of this month, which is currently held at the Lisbon Protocol and is still continuing until Friday, the 1st of July. The Ocean Conference, co-hosted by the governments of Kenya and Protocol, comes at a critical time as the world is seeking to address many of the deep-rooted problems of our societies laid bare by the COVID-19 pandemic, and which will require major structural transformations and common shared solutions that are anchored in the SDGs. To mobilize action, the conference will seek to propel much-needed science-based innovative solutions aimed at starting a new chapter of global ocean action. The United Nations Conference 2022 is to support the implementation of Sustainable Development Goal 14, conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas and marine resources for sustainable development. The theme of this year's conference is scaling up ocean action based on science and innovation for the implementation of Goal 14, stock-taking partnerships and solutions. After the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2022 that was held in Kigali, Rwanda, the Prime Minister of Tonga, Honourable Hokama Meliku, together with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honourable Fekita Maloa Utoikamanu, followed by the Chief Secretary and Secretary to Cabinet, Edgar Coca, travelled to Lisbon Protocol and represent Tonga in the UN Ocean Conference 2022, including the CEO of the Ministry of Fisheries, Dr. Tuikolonga Halafihi, and many others. The Ambassador of Tonga to the United States of America, His Excellency Viliami Va'ingatone, was present at the conference. The conference was originally scheduled to be held in 2020, however it had to be postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The ocean's resources sustain the livelihoods of about 3 billion people worldwide, the vast majority of whom live in developing countries. But those livelihoods are under threat, as the ocean and its ability to sustain life are in great danger due to human activities such as pollution and overfishing. Every year, an estimated 5 to 12 million metric tons of plastic flow into the ocean, which represents 95% of our planet's biosphere. Electrical work is an inclusive profession where both male and female can take it as a career. However, it is vital to ensure that electricians are registered and abide by its risk by following the safety electrical procedures.
In an interview with Radio and Television Tonga News, one of the female participants of the workshop, Ilaisane Fituafi, says the training is a great opportunity for her to gain more knowledge and skills on doing electrical work. Fituafi added the new knowledge she'll gain from the training will contribute to her experience on right measures and procedures of doing electrical work at home to avoid risk. Meanwhile, another participant, Fate Tanaki, says he is currently working for Tonga Power Limited and he is keen to retain more skills on right electrical safety measures despite the knowledge he has gained from doing electrical work over the past years. However, since life only comes once The Electrical Commission hopes that the public will be aware of the electricians conducting electrical work at home to ensure they are licensed and have the appropriate experience in electrical work to avoid electricity costing a life or an incident. Vahifonodo Paula for Radio and Television Tonga News.
And the trial of 3 men accused of murdering 53-year-old Meriame Fisihoi has been aborted due to a range of issues.
Falala Iongi, Viliami Mo'ungahe'ofa Iongi and Manu Hori are accused of murdering the Auckland grandmother on January 15th of 2020. Falala and Viliami also face charges of wounding with intent to injure and reckless discharge of a firearm relating to a prior incident that involved the deceased son, Stephen Fisihoi, and another man on December the 4th of 2019. All accused denied the charges. On Tuesday morning at the High Court at Auckland, Justice Grant Powell told the jury the trial had been aborted due to a range of issues. What those are cannot be reported at this stage. Justice Paula said that he is not able to go into the reasons for it, but this decision was not made lightly, but he concluded there was no alternative.
And that concludes tonight's English news package. But before we part, here's one final look at tonight's top stories. Government has approved a new fiscal policy to reduce the social impact on all households from the high energy prices, with effective from 1st of July 2022 for 3 months. New Zealand High Commissioner presented his credence letter to His Majesty King Tupou VI yesterday at the Royal Palace. And the 4th UN Ocean Conference is still continuing at Protocol.